I cried about it. You know, I'm a father, dude.
A Detroit paramedic in tears. His rig too far away to help a little boy who died in a fire last week.
Can't have another kid die.
And in the city where the top guy at the fire department vowed to fix the broken down ambulances.
And we're going to make it better. Promise you.
It's been nothing but broken promises.
Sometimes you hear they didn't show up at all.
Tonight, someone else has their eye on the problem, who's launching an investigation.
First, they were locked out. Now they're feeling ripped off. And it all started with this guy.
Aren't you the locksmith king? I gotta talk to you about all these complaints you got with the Better Business Bureau.
Need a locksmith? He's got you covered. But it's what Rob uncovers that's the real key to this story.
Elderly woman shopping at Dollar Tree. She's leaving the store, going to her car. With her purse in her hand, a bad guy takes her purse and runs, but two guys see it and chase him.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's good. We need people like that out here.
If I seen it, I would say what happened, what took place, and everything.
Might not be a good idea to chase the guy then.
No, I wouldn't, because you don't know what they have on.
You see the purse stolen right out of the elderly woman's hand. What would you do?
Fox 2 News. News that works for you. Starts now.
There's a problem that Fox 2 has been exposing for several years now. Detroit's broken down ambulances are putting lives in jeopardy.
City leaders tell us they're working to improve the system, but residents say it's getting worse. And as Fox 2's Charlie LeDuff reports, the feds are now launching an investigation.
13.
Pathetic, deadly. The Detroit ambulance system has failed, and everybody knows it, including the top dude. Remember last summer when the mayor got a blood clot? Instead of waiting on an ambulance, his handler stuffed him into the back of a security vehicle and rushed him to the hospital.
You have an officer having a seizure.
Almost a year ago to the day, the brother of City Council President Charles Pugh, a cop on duty, suffered a heart attack.
Your ETA for police.
Instead of waiting on an ambulance, his colleagues jammed him into the back of a squad car. He died.
So I want people to know that my brother cared about Detroit, cared about his job.
Last July, a kid was shot in the head. People called, but an ambulance never arrived.
They just left my son to die on the porch. People that got kids can relate to somebody that's waiting for help and never comes.
Last week, two little boys caught in a house fire. A firefighter calls dispatch and asks where the ambulance is.
True, we have a second child. Second child needs transportation also at the squad holder position.
Message received. You're reporting 2 civilians down. Squad 4, hold your position.
Central, this is Squad 4. We're going to transport this child. What's ETA for EMS?
We're requesting EMS. EMS was not requested. We're requesting EMS now.
Central, we're on road with this child. We're responding to Children's Hospital.
12 minutes later, still no ambulance. The firefighters take the boys in their truck. One lives. One dies.
We did everything that we could. And there's still a little boy who's hanging in there. Just hope he's going to make it.
Listen to how just criminal the ambulance system in Detroit has become. The closest rig to the fire had broken down just a few minutes earlier.
We were at Henry Ford Hospital less than 5 miles from this run.
Why didn't you go to the run?
Truck wouldn't start. It was dead. Alternator blew. Battery was dead.
That left just 10 ambulances for the whole city.
Well, I think actually that morning that left 9.
The next closest ambulance is not sent to the fire, but rather to a man with back pain and blood in his stool.
Romeo 32. 32, go ahead. You going in false CPR? No, you're responding with Medic 3 to 2081 West Brand Boulevard between Dexter and Wildomere, sobriety house, 43-year-old male, back pain, blood in his stool.
Another ambulance is called, but dispatch never asks it its location. 14 miles away. A lifetime.
5281 Turnhouse, 7495 from distance.
I'm not going to lie to you. I cried about it. You know, I'm a father, dude. The kid deserved what he should have got. He deserved better. You know, fire, I would have done the same thing. I'd have put him on my back and carried him to the hospital in the amount of time it took.
By the time firefighters got the boys to the hospital, the ambulances were still en route, so they were canceled.
Affirmative Squad 4, you're transporting them to Ford Hospital with 2 children down and CPR in progress.
That's affirmative, CPR oxygen. We're working on the kids now.
These little boys didn't have an ambulance. How are we going to fix this? Who's going to fix this? We need somebody to fix it. Now. We can't have another little kid. We can't have another kid die. No, that's it.
The required response time for an ambulance in Oakland County is 6 minutes. In Western Wayne County, it's 8 minutes. In Detroit, there is no required response time according to the state. Apparently, you don't deserve one. So we wanted to find out how long it does take to get an ambulance in Detroit. So under the Freedom of Information Act, we requested all the records for the month of July, August, and September of 2012. Now, sources in the department told us this stack should be this high, but they took some out apparently. You know what else? Not one of these runs is over 19 minutes. And we all know that's simply not true. So according to this partial list of documents, what's the response time? About 12 minutes. That's what they told us a decade ago when the department was running 30 ambulances a night. And tonight, we're getting 10. 10! We did a ton of these stories, and 2 years ago, Fire Commissioner Don Ossa was brought in to fix the ambulance system.
January at the latest, we're going to have 22 new ambulances on the street. We're going to partner, and we're going to make it better. Promise you.
But nothing's gotten better. It's gotten worse. This being Detroit, the money for those new ambulances fell through. I arranged a $6 million loan.
It's been played up in our media. There are other lending institutions that are now showing interest, so I want to thank the media for helping with that.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor. But Detroit, I know what you're thinking. Promises, but I'll make you another promise and I'll keep it. I'll stay on top of it until we get those ambulances. This being Detroit, that deal fell through. So the dispatch is in disarray, the rigs are broken, and people die. State Representative Rashida Tlaib has had enough. She introduced legislation in Lansing Tuesday calling for a full investigation into response and management in Detroit's EMS system.
When I'm being told by the head of the local EMS board, Dr. Addis, oh, no, it's not a problem, Rashida. It's 5 or 7 minutes, or it's the average is this minutes. But then you don't hear that. You don't hear Rashida, EMS came in 5 minutes. You hear 20 minutes, you hear 15. Sometimes you hear they didn't show up at all.
For years, Dr. Jenny Addis was the medical director for Detroit's EMS, and according to the Detroit News, she still is. Dr. Addis is also medical director of the Medical Control Authority, which oversees Detroit's EMS. The doctor did not respond to numerous calls for an interview. Nor did Commissioner Austin, nor Detroit EMS Chief Gerald James. And that's too bad, because I wanted to let him know that Fox 2 has confirmed that the FBI and the State Attorney General's office has launched an investigation into the department for fraud. Now, allegedly, the Detroit Fire Department has been sending ambulances, lights, and sirens to minor events like bruised knees and twisted ankles. That makes them eligible for Medicaid reimbursement. Now, this all the while they've been blaming the citizens for using the ambulances as a taxi service, and that, allegedly, is how the department's been making its money. Mr. Mayor! Mr. Mayor, the ambulances! Sir! I tried to tell Mayor Dave Bing personally, but it fell on deaf ears, and he motored away in his own private ambulance. Mr. Mayor, we talk about the ambulance, sir. Nothing from the mayor. Detroit, you're on your own. In downtown Detroit, Charlie LaDuff, Fox 2 News.
Of course, that federal investigation just now being launched, so we'll continue to cover that. But I think what was really made clear in Charlie's piece, and we've known this all along because we have met some of the people on the front lines, not only are they putting their life on the lines, their hearts are invested in this. And you can see their hearts are breaking. They're not able to save lives.
And look, you know, we're not trying to bash the city of Detroit. We're not trying to bash the mayor, the people in charge. What we're doing is showing you a problem as deep and real and raw as it is, and we're demanding a solution. How are we going to fix this, the firefighters say? How are we going to fix this? The time for promises is done. We have to find a solution.
Time for action is now. Absolutely. We want to hear your opinion on Charlie's investigation. You can sound off on Facebook, Twitter, or myfoxdetroit.com.
Other news tonight, 2 Good Samaritans rushed to help catch a bad guy.
He had just snatched a woman's purse, but he didn't get very far with it. Fox 2's Ron Savage live tonight in Ferndale with more on what the 2 good guys did to stop him. Ron?
Hey guys, it was a wild scene here in Ferndale as kids were getting out of school. Photographer John Brzezinski will take you through the chase scene as these kids coming home from school told me it looked like bad versus evil versus good. The elderly woman is leaving Dollar Tree on 8 Mile at Wyoming in Ferndale. Investigators say this 20-year-old guy runs up to her and steals her purse, but 2 other guys who were shopping in the area see it all go down and chase him through the parking lot here on 8 Mile. One of the guys tackles the purse snatcher, and both Good Samaritans sit on the bad guy and call police.
I was just arriving home from practice.
It all happened in front of a group of 12-year-olds. Reginald was coming home from basketball practice.
And we seen a man take a woman's purse right over in this alley. And he started running, and another man came out because the lady called for help. And he chased after the man and said, "You can't run from me."
And they caught up with him?
Yeah. And then he turned around like this, and the other man tackled him and got him on the ground and put his hands behind his back. And then they called the police. The police came. And that was it.
When the deputies arrived, they observed the citizens holding down the subject in the AutoZone parking lot. He was taken into custody without incident.
The 20-year-old has addresses in Detroit and Georgia. He's being held in the Oakland County Jail. He'll be arraigned on Thursday. People in the area are mixed on the idea of chasing that purse thief.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's good. We need people like that out here.
But there's another opinion. Some told us, report the crime, be a good witness, but don't try to take down the bad guy.
If I seen it, I would say what happened, what took place, and everything.
Might not be a good idea to chase the guy then.
No, I wouldn't, because you don't know what they have on. You have no idea. You have no idea.
I'm glad you guys didn't get hurt. What did you do when you saw all this?
I was shocked because I never seen the robbery, but I was real shocked. But I mean, I'm happy I can let the public know about it.
And Reginald's mom told me she's so glad all the kids are okay. We all are. That woman's purse has been returned with all the valuables. The guys got on that bad guy and held him. He'll be arraigned tomorrow in Oak Park. The woman was not injured in this incident. We're live in Ferndale. Ron Savage, Fox 2 News.
Ron, little Reginald is a great young reporter, but what about the suspect? What kind of charges will he face?
Well, bad news for him. It started off as a larceny, but he had a knife in his pocket, Huel, and when you do that, it trumps the charges up to armed robbery. He did not pull the knife. He didn't express that he had a knife, but the fact that he had a weapon on him jumps it up to armed robbery. He'll be arraigned tomorrow. Huel?
I think we're all just glad that he didn't have a gun. Ron, thank you.
Two cousins are missing tonight, and Detroit police are asking for your help to find them. Deja Jones and Lasha Leggett were last seen February 4th on Hickory Street. Deja is 16, Lasha is 15. We're told both girls are in good physical and mental health. If you've seen either one of these 2 teens, call Detroit police right away.
All right, you're locked out of your car, so you Google a locksmith, and no matter where you are in the country, chances are one name will always pop up. Tonight, Rob Wolchek opens a door in a locksmith business that's getting its customers all keyed up. Rob?
That's right, Huel. This company has racked up complaints all over the country. But the key to this business lives right here in Michigan. That is when he's not in Hollywood making movies. Mani Agavabayev is a shrewd businessman who's marketed his locksmith business so that they're always first to appear in your Google search. You may think you're calling a little old locksmith around the corner, but you're actually dialing Mani's call center, which then finds a locksmith in your area. Nothing wrong with that until you get the bill. The big cheese in this business is getting top billing because I found out he's a movie star. My Hall of Shame investigation is next.
I'm meteorologist Rick Sluderman. It's quiet out there right now, but get ready for some snow tomorrow night. You'll see a bit of light snow up to our north right now, but the main story comes tomorrow night into early Friday morning. A lot of us picking up between 3 and 5 inches. Could even be more than that up along and north of Interstate 69. We're going to check the numbers coming up in 15.
We all know that there are a lot of really rough and dangerous thugs out here running the streets with guns. And many of them have proven time and time again that they are a menace to society. Some of them have even pled guilty to vicious and violent crimes. You'd think they'd be locked up, right? Well, with that being said, here's the question people keep asking. Why do those who are supposed to uphold the law keep letting them go?
After he pled guilty, he should have been in jail right away.
And that guy is talking about this one, 21-year-old Avantis Parker from Northville. He is behind bars right now, accused of murder and a slew of gun charges. But it's what he admitted to doing just 4 days before that has this man beyond mad.
Maybe if the judge wouldn't have let him go on, first time.
Now some people are crying out, if he were never a free man in the first place.
Everyone wants to be a Monday morning quarterback. Should he have stayed in jail? I mean, you can ask that.
That's tonight on The Edge.
Or maybe you've been there, you're in a panic, you're locked out of your car or your house, you don't have time to shop around. The first locksmith who answers the phone gets the job.
Problem solver Rob Wolchek says one company makes sure they're always first on the phone. He joins us tonight with a Hall of Shame investigation.
Hello, Monica. The company is called Run Local Locksmith. They're always first, but they may not be the most reasonable. Aren't you the locksmith king?
Yes, I am.
There are a few things you should know about Mani Agababayev.
I'm a business owner like every single legit business owner in America.
He's a ruthless businessman.
I don't create business to crush others. I create business to success. And God bless me.
His locksmith business, Run Local, has hundreds of unhappy customers all over the country.
You're coming to me with 199 complaints from Feather Bureau business.
Yep. And one more thing. He's starring on the silver screen as a badass mobster.
He's smart, ruthless, borderline psychotic.
You a master locksmith or you movie star? Which one is it?
Both of them.
Mani Agababayev may someday get a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. But for now, he's got to deal with the Hall of Shame.
I don't think so. I want to explain to you about my business in the middle of the street.
Why not?
Because I don't want it.
Well, I want it.
So what do you want it? That doesn't mean you're going to have information from me about my business in the middle of the street. You're surprising me like I'm the killer.
So how's this business work? Say you lock your keys in the car and you're in St. Louis. You Google St. Louis locksmith, and the first number that pops up is Run Local Locksmith. Same thing happens in Little Rock, Arkansas. You Google locksmith Little Rock, first thing that pops up, Run Local Locksmith. Locked down in Los Angeles, Run Local Locksmith promises 15-minute service here too. But your call isn't going to be answered by a local locksmith in those cities. It's most likely ringing here, in this office in Centerline, Michigan, the headquarters of Run Local Locksmiths.
Run Local Locksmith is really just a call center that represents independent locksmiths across 25 states.
The Run Local operators inside this building contact a locksmith in whatever city you're calling from and take a cut of that locksmith's services. What percentage do the locksmiths get?
That's not your business. I don't think so. I want to put my percentage on the street.
Yeah, he's the big cheese who created this middleman business. Middleman Mani.
And I am success because I do things straight. Legit.
TV stations around the country have done stories on Run Local because customers say they're being quoted one price on the phone and being charged way more once the local locksmith shows up. At the Fox station in Denver, they went as far as calling this a locksmith scam. The reporter was told by the Run Local operator it would be $19 to unlock her car.
It's $95 for the labor for this car, plus the $19.
Local TV stations can't confront the boss of Run Local because he's here in Michigan, so instead, they just chase after the locksmiths.
Are you trying to rip people off? But this Run Local locksmith.
Bye.
Do you have anything to say? Can't run from our cameras.
Have a nice day.
This guy wasn't even in a locksmith vehicle, just a car with Florida plates. And remember, this was in Denver. The Colorado Attorney General's office brought action against Run Local, claiming their ads promising a 15-minute response time and a $15 charge were misleading. Mani paid a $22,000 fine and promised to change his tactics in that state. But that hasn't stopped him in the rest of the country.
They advertise nationally in every state that doesn't require some kind of certification.
Certified locksmiths like Daniel say Run Local's deep pocket dominance on Google is crushing their business. Now, what do you charge to unlock a door usually?
Between $50 and $60.
Daniel doesn't have to pay a middleman. So what do the Run Local locksmiths charge?
$189 plus tax, so it was like $204.
Tyler locked his girlfriend Kelly's keys in her car at Somerset Mall.
I just looked on Google.
And Run Local locksmith was on top. Some dude in a plain van showed up.
He opened my car in like 2 minutes.
Here's another of Mani's customers.
It said local, so I thought it was in Ann Arbor.
Nancy lost the keys to her '99 Sunbird. The local locksmith went to work.
I watched him open the lock, 20 seconds at most. 20 minutes later, handed me this key, handed me a bill for $500-something.
Here's the bill. Here's the key. So you don't even have like a full key with a...
Right. I said, well, why doesn't it have it? And he said, well, that's 20-some extra dollars if you...
$20 extra to put a little plastic end on it?
Yes.
George thought he was calling a local guy when he had a jammed lock at his business.
He unscrewed the lock, looked at, sprayed some goodie in there, put it back together, and charged me $100.
George says the person on the phone said it would be $15. How'd you get in the locksmith business?
That's something I don't want to answer.
So who is Mani Agababayev anyways? Google his name and you'll see mysteriously authored press releases on this tycoon of business. Every person who has experienced the services of Mani Agababayev has always been satisfied. There is not a single person who has ever been dissatisfied with his services. Obviously, Mani thinks a lot of himself, or at least the supposed author does. John Cena, the WWE wrestling star. And speaking of stars, I also found out Mani is starring in an upcoming movie.
I killed it! I killed those... They're gonna put me in the movie. They're gonna
one point in the trailer, an actor actually mentions Mani's character being a middleman.
Why do we need you as our middleman?
He may dream of being an A-list movie star, but his locksmith biz has an F rating with the BBB.
We service 5,000 customers a week. Do you know how many customers that's a year?
Yeah.
Okay, how many of them?
Well, I don't know.
That's almost 250,000 customers.
Okay.
You're coming to me with 199 complaints from Better Bureau Business?
Mani doesn't seem to have a problem with the complaints. He won't disclose what percentage he takes for his locksmith referrals or how much money he makes. He looks at himself as some kind of a hero.
Do you know what's the problem in America? Just because Mr. Manny Aga, like you call him movie star, just because Mr. Manny grow up and be success, just because he legit and servicing everyone, holidays, day and night, no sleep, just to service you with your little baby at 3 o'clock in the morning when you locked out your car in the snow. That's me coming saving you and your baby when you're outside the door. So I don't think so all this necessary, but guess what? That's good for me.
But remember, Mani's not doing the locksmithing. He's just taking the calls and farming out the jobs for a piece of the apple pie.
God bless America, and God bless you too.
All right.
Do you want to give me any business card so I can
Here's a
reach
business
you?
card, okay?
God bless you.
All right.
Thank
See you later.
Do me a favor, show the right things on TV.
Well, I'm going to talk about your complaints.
Anytime.
You've covered yourself well.
Please, out of 250,000 customers. Don't forget that never.
With that, the movie star, middleman marketing locksmith, makes his Hollywood exit. Hey, Mani, I got a place for you, and a locksmith's not going to get you out of the Hall of Shame. Mani told me his company refunds a lot of money every year to their customers, and indeed, some of the customers said when they complained to the company, they got some of their money back, but they still thought they were overcharged. Mani's movie should hit the big screen in a couple of weeks. He says, just like Run Local Locksmiths, it will be opening nationwide. You, Monica?
Rob, I don't know how much money this guy makes, but making your own movie is not cheap.
Yeah, I think he's making a lot of money. This is, he's got it going all across the country, and he's taking in a lot of money, I would imagine.
And do we know what kind of a cut he's getting out of these? Does it go market to market?
I have heard that it's quite a big cut. So, but I don't know for sure. He wouldn't answer any of those questions. But he's making money, definitely. Yeah. He's running it all over.
And nothing on the surface illegal.
Nothing on the surface illegal. However, some of the Attorney General's office, including ours, has gotten some complaints on him. And consumer protection type laws they're looking at right now.
And this is a lesson for all of us. If you're locked out, do call the local guy. Not just the first name that pops up on Google, but a local person if you can.
If you can find that person. If you can find that person. I mean, you know, when you're panicked and you're looking for a locksmith, you're not going to really shop around. You know, you're standing outside in the cold, and he's got a good little business going for him.
All right, Rob, thank you. And don't forget, you can be the first to know anytime Rob is ready to put somebody in the Hall of Shame. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at Rob Wolchek.
I feared the Navy, the military, never knowing that the streets of Detroit will be where my son will be taken.
A Navy petty officer survives deployment overseas but does not survive a trip home on leave. Tonight, his face is on a billboard asking you to help find his killer.
The family of a naval officer shot and killed on Detroit's west side hopes a growing cash reward will help solve the crime. About a month ago, Petty Officer Terrence Hill Jr. arrived home on leave. He was with his girlfriend on Manor when a car pulled up to them. The killer got out, robbed the couple, and shot Terrence in the chest. Terrence's mother says he dreamed of getting married and becoming a father. Now she's making an emotional plea to the killer's family to do the right thing.
If you're a grandmother and your grandson did it, or a mom and your son did it to my son, put yourself in my shoes. You wouldn't want this.
Here is a composite sketch of the gunman. Crime Stoppers is offering a $12,500 reward for information that leads to an arrest.
After dozens of witnesses and hundreds of pages of evidence, the federal corruption trial of Kwame Kilpatrick is coming to an end. The former mayor, his father Bernard, and friend Bobby Ferguson had one last chance to testify in their own defense today. All three declined. The defendants are accused of running a criminal enterprise, a racket that cheated the city of Detroit out of millions of dollars. But the defense claims that Kilpatrick stashed away hundreds of thousands before he took office and was then showered with cash gifts when he became mayor. Unethical maybe, but not illegal. Judge Nancy Edmonds thanked the jury today, praising them for sitting through 5 months of testimony and cross-examination. Closing arguments are set to begin Monday.
I'm meteorologist Rick Schluterman. Snow is on the way for tomorrow night, but right now it's quiet and cold across the air. You can see the numbers. A lot of us are in the middle 20s, and that's where we'll start the day tomorrow. It's going to be dry for most of Thursday, but Thursday night into Friday morning, a different story. We're talking about snow. We'll check the numbers right after the break.
A family from Windsor grieving the loss of 2 children in that terrible crash on I-75, but they're so grateful for the life saved by a Michigan State trooper.
He shook my hand. He gave me a hug. So he was very happy.
Meet the man that family is calling a hero.
In Dearborn, a car crash kills a mother right in front of her child. A woman had just cleaned snow off of her car and was pulling out of a driveway this morning when she was T-boned by another vehicle. She died right there at the scene. The woman's neighbor tells us that Outer Drive has become very busy and very dangerous.
Yeah, there's more traffic now than there's been in years before, and when you back out of your driveway, you can't just look to the right and the left. You have to look where the islands are because cars come around the corner, and then there's kids going through on bicycles. You got to watch the sidewalk, so you have to look more than one way.
The victim's 12-year-old daughter was also in that same car. She suffered only minor injuries.
A suspected rapist tries to escape from a Detroit hospital. He was recovering there after police shot him in the groin last night during an undercover sting. 19-year-old asked to go to the bathroom at St. John Hospital, but he never returned. That's because he was climbing through the ceiling tiles trying to get away. Detroit police locked down the hospital and evacuated the second floor as they searched for him. They eventually found him stuck inside the hospital walls, where he re-injured himself.
I'm a bit relieved that the guy is gone. I was the only person in my room. I'm not worried or anything, but I could have been asleep and he dropped from the ceiling and held me hostage. I don't know if he was armed or not.
Doctors will reevaluate the suspect's injuries before he is sent to Detroit Receiving, where there's a full-time police unit to keep a close eye on him.
It was nice to see the sun today, but we have some changes coming over the next 24 to 36 hours. Let me show you the winter storm warning in effect for a good chunk of central Michigan tomorrow. Heavy snow expected around Grand Rapids, Lansing, up to Mount Pleasant, close to Bay City. We're still under a winter storm watch here for most of southeast Michigan. The exception is right near the Ohio border, where there'll be less snow tomorrow night. But again, we are anticipating a good swath of 3 to 5 inches of snow beginning Thursday evening and lasting into early Friday morning. Right now it's quiet out there, 24 degrees with mostly clear skies. You'll see the numbers. Troy's at 27, Jackson 24, Mount Clemens a cold spot 18, down to our south and west 22 in Adrian. There is a breeze out of the south and southeast, but really it's keeping things quiet tonight, and most of tomorrow will be snow free, but things will quickly go downhill tomorrow night. 24 right now at Metro Airport, 25 Traverse City, 27 Cincinnati, 34 not quite as cold there in Chicago. This is just the first part of this developing storm with a swath of light snow covering northern Lake Michigan and northern lower Michigan, but this is all to our north. There could be a few flurries here well after midnight. We're dealing with a couple of storm centers and the cold air that's in place, so mostly what crosses Michigan tomorrow is going to be in the form of snow. It develops here tomorrow night. Now, late tomorrow evening, a piece of jet stream energy will cross central Michigan, and that is why Fox Snowcast still has the heaviest swath of snow from near Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids up close to Mount Pleasant, but we're right on the northern fringe of that swath of snow, so a lot of us are going to be dealing with a fresh 4 or 5 inches come early Friday morning. For the rest of tonight, flurries late, especially 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Here's your Thursday forecast. Not a bad day tomorrow. In fact, we get up to 34 with thickening clouds, but evening snow is likely. And here's your Thursday night forecast. 3 to 5 for most of us along and north of Interstate 69, which connects Flint to Lapeer over to Port Huron. There'll be even more snow, and we'll sum it up for you in the 5-day forecast. That snow lingers into Friday morning. The weekend looks quiet, but how about Monday? We warm up and we see a few rain showers. We'll check the radar again coming up on the Age at 11.
The letters from high school recruits are in. It's National Signing Day. I'm Woody Woodruff. We'll tell you how Michigan fared coming up next in sports.
All right, Pistons at home taking on the Nets tonight. Let's get right to it. Fourth quarter, they were down one. Greg Monroe with a jumper. And the Pistons were on top, but that was one of only 6 buckets they made in the entire fourth quarter. Nets up 1 under 4 to go. Darren Williams, sick ball handling and dropping the jumper. Brooklyn up 3. It was a 1-point game with under 30 seconds left. Pistons needed to stop, but Brook Lopez able to score inside to give the Nets a 3-point lead. Final seconds now. Pistons needing a 3 to tie. Calderon nowhere to go. Gets it to Will Bynum. He fires a contested shot. Not close. Nets hold on. Beat the Pistons 93-90. Michigan State hosting Minnesota. Spartans took control in the second half. Brandon Dawson. This is just nice play. Off the glass. Gets it himself. Puts it back in. Plus the foul. MSU up 10. Gary Harris driving the lane. Gets it to go. He picked up the foul as well. 15 for him. Now, scary moment late. Center your screen. Keith Appling with a shoulder injury. It did pop back into place. No word on if he will miss any time. Spartans won the game 61-50. Reaction coming up on the Edge at 11. All right, college football, it's signing day. High school players across the country signing on with the schools of their choice and in turn giving fan bases hope that the future will be a bright one. Michigan with one of the top-ranked classes in the entire country. Woody Woodruff has more.
In the world of cooking, it's all about using the best ingredients, and the same is true in college football. Getting the best high school recruits makes the difference, and Michigan landed every recruit they aimed for on National Signing Day.
We're very excited about the group of young men who made the decision to come and play at the greatest university in this country, and we're excited about that.
6 early enrollees, 21 signing letters, including Warren De La Salle quarterback Shane Morris and Scout.com's #1 running back in the nation, Virginia rusher Derek Green. Brady Hoke isn't the only Michigan coach with an ear-to-ear grin.
That's a true statement because what happens, we know we were down in numbers in our offensive line. We got that up now. We know we needed the bigger backs, the power guys. We got that. We know we need range of receivers. We got it. So everybody's smiling because of those needs have been met.
Even defense was addressed as Michigan continues to develop an attack that will definitely be physical.
They're going to fit right in with the group that we have already. I mean, you saw how our young linebackers played this year, then that's what you want to keep doing. Keep bringing the next group in and the next group in, and now you have Michigan football players.
There might be a bump in the road here or there, but at the same time, these are really quality and character individuals that we're very proud of.
Homework is also key in the recruiting game, and based on the 2013 class here at Michigan, Brady Hoke has done his homework. Let's give him an A. In Ann Arbor with the Wolverines, Woody Woodruff, Fox 2 Sports.
All right, Woody, thanks. Now, Michigan State's class is not as highly regarded as Michigan's, but let's face it, the way these things work 2 years from now, that might not mean very much. The Spartans ranked around 5th or 6th in the Big Ten by most analysts and anywhere from 33rd to 42nd nationally on the ratings that we checked. We'll hear from Mark D'Antonio coming up on the Edge at 11 o'clock tonight.
On paper, Michigan has a great quarterback, great running back, too.
Yeah, and the thing is, these are on paper. You never really know how a kid's going to develop from the time he's 18 till the time he's 22. These are projections. We'll see how they work out.
All right, Dan, thank you.
She finally took a deep breath and she was awake, and then she started, becoming agitated from the pain that she was in.
It's a remarkable story of heroics by a Michigan State trooper, the first to respond to that deadly accident on I-75 last week. Tonight, the emotional message from the family of the girl he saved.
Tonight, a special thank you for one of the heroes of last week's deadly pileup on I-75.
The Windsor father, who lost 2 of his children in that accident, says he is forever indebted to a state trooper because that trooper helped to save one of his daughters. Fox 2's Amy Lang with the story.
They were all pointing in the same direction. They were pointing to the car. They said there were kids that were hurt.
Michigan State Police Trooper Seth Swanson was first on scene at that deadly pileup on I-75 in Springwells. In that car, he discovered 2 children he couldn't save, but a third had a chance.
She wasn't breathing either. She was unconscious, but she had a very faint pulse.
He cleared her airway, started rescue breaths, a first, a second, and then a third.
She finally took a deep breath and she was awake.
Awake, her 7-year-old brother Aiden Hicks and 9-year-old sister Gabrielle Greenwood beside her in the car, both gone. But 10-year-old Hannah had made it. Their parents were also hospitalized, and on Tuesday, Trooper Seth Swanson paid them all a visit, meeting Hannah again.
From what I understand, she's her old self, which is great. She didn't recognize me, which is okay, but no, she's okay.
And her family will never forget him. Glenn Greenwood hadn't realized Trooper Swanson saved his daughter's life.
But he shook my hand. He gave me a hug. So he was very happy.
And so grateful. He posted this to Facebook after he and Hannah were released from the hospital. I would like for all to know Officer Seth Swanson of the Michigan State Police. That young man is my hero and saved my little girl's life. I am in eternal debt to that officer. Thank you.
It's nice to hear. I'm just glad we were able to help out.
Trooper Swanson's been with the Michigan State Police for 4 years. He's never seen a crash this bad, and this was the first time he's had to use his CPR training on a child in a situation like this. Swanson quick to thank all of the other first responders who made such a difference on that terrible day. They're all heroes, like Glenn Greenwood said.
It felt good, but it comes down to it's our job. It's what we do.
In Oak Park, Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
Say goodbye to Saturday mail delivery. The U.S. Postal Service says it needs to save money, so it's cutting the service, but not for everybody, when the changes are set to take effect.
I mean, come on. This is irresponsible stuff. If she wants to get on a plane and come here to New Jersey and ask me if she wants to examine me and review my medical history, I'll have a conversation with her about that. Until that time, she should shut up.
He's always being teased for his weight. Tonight, New Jersey's governor has had enough, who he's lashing out against. InHealthWorks expanding Medicaid eligibility to hundreds of thousands of uninsured Michigan residents. Governor Rick Snyder announcing today he supports the idea under the Obama administration's Affordable Health Care Act. Many House Republicans aren't in favor of the president's expanded Medicare system. They want to make sure that Michigan taxpayers don't get stuck with a bill when the federal aid ends. The governor says he will build a health care fund to make sure that doesn't happen.
Tonight, Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey, is fighting mad at the public's obsession with his weight.
An Arizona doctor who once worked in the White House said she'd be concerned that if Christie was elected, he might die in office, and that did not sit well with the governor.
I find it fascinating that a doctor in Arizona who's never met me, never examined me, never reviewed my medical history or records, knows nothing about my family history, could make a diagnosis from 2,400 miles away. She must be a genius. This is just another hack who wants 5 minutes on TV. My children saw that last night. And she sat there on TV and said, I'm afraid he's going to die in office. I have 4 children between 9 and 19. You know, my children, my 12-year-old son comes to me last night and said, Dad, are you going to die? If she wants to get on a plane and come here to New Jersey and ask me if she wants to examine me and review my medical history, I'll have a conversation with her about that. Until that time, she should shut up.
Christie, who is 50 years old, poked fun about his own weight during an appearance on the Dave Letterman show this week. He even ate a donut during the segment. Christie insists his weight does not get in the way of his work, and some say he might run for the Republican nomination for president.
The time now to check out the Wednesday Night Talker. Say goodbye to Saturday mail delivery. By the end of August, it will be history.
Main reason? U.S. Postal Service is drowning in $15 billion of debt. Eliminating weekend delivery will save the post office about $2 billion. Under the plan, mail will only be delivered to post office boxes. Other than that, packages will be the only thing delivered on Saturdays. Normally, Congress has to approve the elimination of Saturday delivery, but the Postmaster General says he can't afford to wait for Congress to act.
Of course, Fox 2 viewers are sounding off on Facebook tonight. Rebecca writes, I'm fine with it. I usually get junk mail or no mail on Saturdays anyway. Coco says, we mail a lot. I have siblings who don't use social media and they live out of state. Paulette says, I mail all my bills and letters. No paying online. I want to keep the mail people in a job. And Amy says, I haven't been to the post office in years. What's one less day without it?